Welcome to the 2025 TOOLBOX rankings, where I'll be placing 25 of the most popular modular storage systems on this chart from basic to elite. When I bought this Packout kit in 2018, I never would have guessed there would be so many brands 7 years later. It's honestly crazy how much the market has expanded in the last decade, but it's ramped up even more in the last 2 years. There are more boxes, drawer sizes, bags, accessories, and yes, several of the highly desired rolling drawer toolboxes. In 2023, I made a video about the top 15 systems. Since then, we've gotten multiple new ones, like Husky Build-Out, ToughBuilt StackTech, HyperTough HyperStack, and Makita MAKtrak. There is so much to cover in the modular storage market that this video could easily be hours long. So here's the main point of the video. Give you some of the most important details about each system in order to help you find what system, or even systems, will be best for you and your unique use cases. And here's a few other goals. Teach you about the beginnings of the modular toolbox market and when each system started. Go over the current offerings of different systems and the main pros and cons of each. Discuss where I think the market is going, how systems can continue to evolve, and share some details about brand new products that are coming very soon, including first of its kind products from Klein MODbox and HyperTough HyperStack. I'll rank each system somewhere between basic and elite based on specs, features, and the size of the system. And at the end of the video, I'll share my thoughts about a few unreleased systems that could be launching in late 2025 and early 2026. Let's get started by going over today's lineup. In alphabetical order, we have Bauer, Black+Decker stack, Craftsman Tradestack, Craftsman Versastack, Dewalt DXL, Dewalt Toughsystem 2.0, Flex Stackpack, Hart Stack, Husky Build-Out, Husky Connect, HyperTough HyperStack, Klein MODbox, Kobalt CaseStack, L-BOXX, Makita MAKtrak, Masterforce, Maximum Brix, Milwaukee Packout, OXtool, Qbrick, Ridgid Pro Gear, Ryobi Link, SK boxes, Tanos Systainer, and ToughBuilt StackTech. Yup, that's right, 25 different systems. And technically, there's actually a few more I'll talk about later in the honorable mentions category. Before we jump into the rankings, I want to remind you that these different systems may be referred to as toolboxes, but they really can be so much more than that for millions of people across tons of different activities. Obviously, they are great for storing tools and different hardware, but I've seen a lot of setups for camping, fishing, and hunting. You might be surprised to hear about unique applications like mobile nursing and field veterinarians, music or sporting events, office organization, photographers and videographers, and even transporting pet and baby supplies. Often, owning multiple systems rather than just one could make a lot of sense, especially when you can increase the functionality of certain brands by adding versatile products I've designed, like the handler organization system. First up, Bauer. As we go through each system, there isn't enough time to go over every single detail. That's why I have other more in-depth reviews and comparisons. I can also follow up on any specific questions with short form videos, so comment down below. But here's some of the main things to consider about each brand. The connecting mechanism, and how easily do pieces connect together, and how secure is that connection. How versatile is the system? Are there compatible boxes, drawers, organizers, and more? What's the average price of the system? Low, medium, or high priced on average? Where can you buy each system? And how much stock do they usually have? Are there any OEM accessories? And what type of third-party support is out there for the system? And I'll mention some other pros and cons throughout the video. Harbor Freight opened almost 50 years ago and has expanded a lot in recent years to more than 1,600 retail stores and thousands of products under their several house brands. I don't know about you, but I've noticed quality increases across all kinds of hand tools and steel storage since I started going to Harbor Freight years ago. That's why it's kind of disappointing that the Bauer system, which came out in 2022, hasn't gotten much love since. It started out with these 5 items and is decent value for the price, but I don't think this system is really keeping up with other brands around the price range. Most systems have launched with the now ubiquitous 3 toolbox kit: the rolling toolbox, medium toolbox, and small toolbox. Is this kit perfect? Obviously not, but they are key items and are some of the most popular across every system. There are several factors to analyze for rolling toolboxes. For example, Bauer has small wheels, no footstep, the handle is not removable, no front grab handle, and the latches are on the side, not the front. Also, the style of all metal latches across the boxes are not as ergonomic or secure as most of the plastic latches with wire gates. For the rest of the system, there aren't any drawers or soft storage, and the system uses manual side connecting latches. Systems can be divided into 2 main categories: front access latches and side latches. In general, I prefer and recommend front access latches because it's more convenient to stack and unstack items, especially in close quarters like a trailer or when storing items on shelving. Also, many of the front connecting systems have more points of contact between the boxes, leading to a more reliable connection. The side connecting systems will be less reliable in tension than a system like MAKtrak, which has the most feet interlocking with the lid of the box below. However, nothing is perfect. The majority of front access boxes can only be attached in one direction. Bauer and many other side access boxes are symmetrical and can be stacked in either direction. Another downside is that the current version of these boxes will not be compatible with any half-size items. On the bright side, there are still a couple of notable features. There are some internal dividers in the small toolbox. There's 6 clear bins with an integrated lid. The medium box includes 2 dividers with circular slots on one side and 3 rectangle slots on the other. Overall, this system has fairly good ergonomics. It helps that these boxes aren't as big or heavy as other systems, but there are also integrated handles on most boxes beneath the connecting latch, and there are a few folding ones with some red rubber overmolding. A lot of people ask me to make accessories for the Bauer system, but to maintain my damage-free installation rule, there isn't much to work with on these boxes. But there are these cutouts in the crate that align almost perfectly with my handler wall mount. Simply screw the mount on, and you can attach things on the outside and inside of your Bauer crate. More on the Bauer system coming later in the video, because the manufacturer of this system, Meridian International, actually makes a bunch of other systems, and a couple are even directly compatible with Bauer toolboxes. Since the Bauer system is fairly limited, uses manual side latches, and doesn't have much opportunity for expansion or accessorization, I place it on the upper end of the basic category. I picked up this Black+Decker stack a few weeks ago from Menards. I thought it was relatively new, but it actually came out in 2021. Luckily, I haven't been missing out on much. When compared to the market-leading MODbox's 10-inch wheels, these 7-inch ones look a little silly. The handle is also much shorter, and there is no footstep. The bottom box does not have a lid, so I'm glad the connecting mechanism is an easy-to-use front latch. However, there's a problem. When the small box is opened, it pushes back on the handle and disconnects the top 2 boxes from the rolling box. The connection between the 2 boxes is pretty solid because the rear cleats are more stiff. On the rolling box, the rear cleats have some more flex to them, leading to the boxes disconnecting. On the small toolbox lid, there are 3 extra sliding cleats. They must be for an accessory case, but I could not find it online. I did find another kit out there with an organizer and a tote that seems to be based off of the Versastack, but the availability for that kit is low. Overall, since this system is just a few pieces and low quality, especially at the overpriced point of $120, I would not recommend this basic system. This may come as a shock to some, but yes, in 2025, some people are still using 5-gallon buckets to transport their tools. For $0 to $5 on average, it's hard to beat the versatility of a bucket. You can throw a lid on top for a couple more bucks and have a pretty resilient and inconspicuous tool container. There are actually a lot of bucket upgrades out there. Swap the handle for something more ergonomic, install a bucket liner for storing different hand tools, or create a rolling setup with a 4-wheel dolly or a hand truck. There's a lot of basic buckets out there, but there are now multiple premium buckets on the market. From Yeti or Huck, these will run you about 10 times as much as a basic one. If you want extras like trays or seats, the price is even more. Regardless if you get a fancy Yeti bucket for $40 to $160, I think the bucket is very versatile, but still solidly in the basic category. Craftsman Tradestack came out in 2021, and it's a fairly large size system, especially when you add on items from Versastack, which is the next system on this list. Craftsman Tradestack is one of the many systems on the market under the Stanley Black & Decker umbrella, and I think it might have been the first modular storage system that's made in the USA with global materials. The Tradestack rolling box has 7-inch wheels and the handle is shorter than most, yet they added some extra features like belt clip slots on top. Down lower are some cord wrap hooks and a spot for a level on each side. Unfortunately, the only level I have that fits is my dad's Craftsman level from Sears, so it's probably about 20 years old. It would be nice if there was some more flexibility to that feature. Inside the rolling box is a Versastack adapter, which is a nice touch for compatibility with a very popular system. I like the concept of this front latch, but I have had some reliability issues with items staying connected under load. There is some variety within Tradestack. A few boxes, drawers, an organizer, and 2 soft storage items that are pretty high quality. But here's the problem. Low availability for items like the crate and tool tote and the lack of expansion in the last few years make me worried about the longevity of the system. If Craftsman expands Tradestack with more items and optional accessories, then it could be better. But right now, it's solidly in the enhanced category. Before Tradestack, Versastack came out in 2018. And before Versastack, Stanley T-Stack came out in 2012. Both systems are made by Stanley Black & Decker, and most of the items are the exact same, and they can all be connected together using the manual side latches. Versastack is one of the most affordable systems on the market, but the pricing is kinda all over the place, depending on items, sales, and retailers. Many people really like this compact 2-drawer because it has auto latching drawers with dividers included. But as Versastack prices have risen over the years, there are more reasons now to spend more money on a bigger system, or look at an alternative in the same price range. When I saw this larger rolling tool chest recently, I thought it might redeem Versastack a little and give it an alternative to the small rolling toolbox. The handle extends a good distance, and the split lid for quick access on one side is a good feature, but I wish the box just felt a little bit more durable. If you need a very compact system, then Versa/T-Stack might be a great choice for you, but there are definitely improvements that could be made to this system, and it would be great to see expansion to Versastack or both of these systems very soon. As of right now, Versastack is solidly in the basic category. Dewalt DXL is one of the most interesting systems on the market. In a way, it's just an extension to Dewalt Toughsystem 2.0, but since these larger boxes can be used independently, I'm ranking it separately. DXL was announced pretty early in 2024, but didn't become available until later in the year. I haven't tested DXL very much, but from what I've played around with in store, here are a few nice things about the system. Starting with the heavy-duty XL dolly. All 4 casters can swivel 360 degrees, but you can also press down on the yellow lever and lock 2 of them in a straight position, turning your stack from a highly maneuverable dolly into a more traditional mechanics push cart. Since DXL doubles the width of the standard system, the side latches are now effectively front latches, and you can still attach 2.0 items on any of the boxes. The extra wide drawers are currently the only ones like this on the market, and they can accommodate long or wider items than usual. There's also a gasket for some water resistance on the drawers, and a folding security bar that locks individual drawers or multiple boxes together. And DXL has side rails for accessory compatibility, an important feature which 2.0 boxes are missing. Yet there are still a couple of obvious downsides. This system is basically the most expensive one out there. There is nothing like it, so that partially explains the high price tag, and the combination of plastics, aluminum handles, and the accessory rails definitely increase the bill of materials and assembly time. But the price is still a hard pill to swallow. The second downside is the size and weight. If you're looking for a hyper-mobile setup, then DXL probably isn't for you. The boxes are annoying to move even when empty, so I recommend moving them with a friend if you can. I would love to see Dewalt expand DXL with more drawer variants, other box types, and more rail accessories, but I don't know if it's been selling very well. Based on build quality and the different approach, I rank DXL in the premium category. Dewalt Toughsystem 2.0 is Stanley Black & Decker's flagship system, but it started in 2011 as Toughsystem 1.0. It was an innovative step up in the storage market. The toolboxes were made of polypropylene, which brings different characteristics than ABS, which is what toolboxes were commonly made from. Toughsystem 1.0 also had an ingress protection rating since it came with gaskets around the lids. And the system was revamped in 2019 with auto side latches, revised drawers, and other items have gradually come out since. The drawers are pretty good since they have a gasket, but they have a very simple ABS inner construction without any dividers or bins included. I also like the two different bags the Toughsystem has and the compact toolbox, but the overall durability of Toughsystem is less than other systems around this price point. During Toughsystem 1.0, the DS carrier and wall rack system were also launched. These eliminated the need for constant stacking and unstacking, which is exactly what tons of people complain about today. For some reason, Dewalt isn't very focused on marketing, improving, and coming out with as many new items as competitors. I hope Dewalt's working on a third edition, which will maximize the original features, reduce the wobble in the connecting mechanism, and add more functionality, so they can continue to compete with contenders for years to come. Toughsystem 2.0 is still in the premium category. We're 7 systems in, and it's already getting a little overwhelming, right? There are a lot of brand names, product names, specs, and features to look at and compare. I'm sure you already have a specific question about something. That's why I've been working on a special project that will allow you to narrow down the choices and help you find your ultimate system at your own pace. A website where you can select systems and product categories, then filter by characteristics you find most important. It's going to be an ongoing project where more systems, products, and information will be added over time, but the beta version is going live very soon. Keep an eye out for ToolboxComparisons.com. When Flex Stackpack came out in 2022, it kind of rocked the internet. Flashy marketing campaign, new features, and the first high-quality boxes at Lowe's was a recipe for success, right? Not really. A few years later, and I don't think Stackpack has really gained that much market share. Based off of Google Trends, Flex Stackpack has never gotten close again to the buzz around its launch. If we compare that to other newer systems at Lowe's, their charts are a little bit more reasonable. But here's something kinda crazy. Milwaukee Packout is many times more popular than all of these systems. I'll admit Google Trends data is kind of weird because of the relative scoring over time, and it could get skewed because of obsessed Packout users searching at a higher rate than others, but the data is pretty interesting. All of that being said, Stackpack does have a good bit of potential. The drawers are pretty good, the boxes are definitely durable, the corner rails with threaded inserts are accessory ready, and Flex has expanded the system to a decent number of items. They've even come out with unique accessories like the box-to-box mounts. I would say the main downside to Stackpack is the side connectors. The auto latches work fairly well, but if you're going to be using and abusing these boxes and stacking and unstacking all day long, there are better options. In my review 3 years ago, I was worried these protruding latches would break, and the picture reviews don't lie. The organizer boxes didn't perform that well in my organizer comparison video, especially during the shake test. But the drawers are fine. I wish they were a little more refined, especially around the release latches, but the rolling toolbox and the rolling drawer unit are built well. There are 9-inch wheels with bearings. They have a very similar removable handle, and the rolling drawer has 4 drawer slides attached to the one large inner drawer. Also, I love how this drawer does not fall out. Once again, side connectors are a con in this system's rankings, but Stackpack is definitely durable, and there are a lot of items to choose from. Stackpack is approaching elite status. Hart Stack is the first system from another well-known tool conglomerate, Tektronix Industries, or TTI. It's manufactured by Ketter and has been available as a budget system at Walmart since 2021. The Hart name is licensed by TTI, which is the parent company of popular brands like Milwaukee, Ryobi, Empire, Stiletto, and even Hoover. Ketter Group is a plastics manufacturer headquartered in Israel. They produce Hart Stack for Walmart with a black and blue color scheme, but you can also find it as Ketter Stack on Amazon in black and red. This system is not bad for the price. The front connecting latches are convenient and fairly secure. Hart Stack also has some variety with a few sizes of boxes, a 2-drawer, a unique triple organizer box, and a couple of bags. The rolling toolbox has smaller diameter wheels and the handle is a lower but still usable height. The overall construction of the boxes are on the weaker side. However, if you're going to treat these boxes well, I think they can last you a long time. The main downside is the lack of accessorization and that the system has not expanded recently. If some new boxes are added and extra features are thrown in, I think the system could continue to be successful for many years. As of today, the variety of the system and front connecting latches bump it into the low end of the enhanced category. Shortly after I posted my top 15 video, Husky Build-Out was released at the end of the summer in 2023. It launched at a great price and brought with it some great features and good build quality at the medium price point. Although Build-Out uses side connectors, I think the user experience can be more pleasant than some of the other side connecting systems. The boxes just click together and the release paddles are bigger than the ones on Toughsystem or Stackpack. However, this action usually requires 2 hands, one to pull up on each latch at the same time. The boxes cannot be disconnected when pulled to the side at an angle like several other systems. If for whatever reason you only have one hand available, Build-Out's dual lock and release mechanism would not be ideal. The rolling toolbox handle is on the more basic side, but it is removable. Most of the boxes have accessory rails that go around some of the perimeter, and the Build-Out accessories are really well made for the price. Last winter, there was a wave of new Build-Out products. 3 different drawer boxes, a tote, worktop, and dolly. I just recently picked up the Build-Out backpack, which happened to be in stock at my local store. But the utility cart has not been released in the US. And over the past few months, the availability for new Husky Build-Out products has been very low. The US tariff or really import tax situation is possibly a major cause for this disruption in the item distribution. From what I can tell, Husky Build-Out was selling well for the past 2 years at Home Depot, and now the system has launched into other markets globally. Build-Out is another system manufactured in China by Meridian, and it's rebranded as Bunker Load Up in Europe, Redline Down Under, and Tactics Load Up in Asia. There has been some discourse popping up on forums about Husky Build-Out being discontinued at Home Depot. I think that would piss off some satisfied Build-Out customers, but the design of Build-Out boxes should not be disappearing from the worldwide market anytime soon. Based on the quality for the price, size of the ecosystem, and special features, Husky Build-Out is a great bang for the buck, which propels it into the premium category. Husky Connect is one of the oldest modular systems on this list. It came out in 2016 and is another system made by Ketter. There are some very loyal longtime users, but it's hard to justify it nowadays. Husky Connect has side connectors, a small amount of items, and probably won't see any more additions. Which is a little disappointing because Connect has a cool cantilever storage box and a lot of longtime users. Right now, it belongs in the basic category. HyperTough HyperStack launched in the fall of 2024, and they came out swinging. Impressive renderings showed the possibilities for this system, from wall storage to different box types and integrated accessories. This system also came out at a super competitive price point. It's gone up a little since then, but it is still the most affordable system on the market. So, is it any good? Yeah, it's pretty good. It's constantly going in and out of stock, and the system has a lot of potential. It's easy to point out ways it's not as durable as the other more expensive systems, but it's hard to complain that much when these products are so much more affordable and still very versatile. The rolling toolbox has 8-inch wheels. That's bigger than other cheap brands like Bauer, Black+Decker, and Versastack. There's also a footstep. The handle is not removable, but since it is a lot shorter than most in both positions, it will be less of a problem. At 6'2", this handle is far from ergonomic, so I'm working on this handle extension. This is just the first prototype, but the final version I'll have for sale on whyhedesigns.com will be much better. HyperStack uses side connectors, very similar to Husky Build-Out. Once again, not as convenient as front latches, but it works, and this system has half-width compatibility. As of summer of 2025, HyperStack has a rolling toolbox, medium box, small organizer, crate, 3-drawer, sawhorses, miter saw stand, several carts, and a bunch of accessories. But wait, there's more. There are big plans for HyperStack. New drawers, wall mounts, organizers, pouches, bags, and new accessories like lights and a fan. A lot of items will be coming to Walmart in 2025, and they won't be stopping there. I have a feeling some HyperStack people will be watching, so drop a comment if there's something that you're wishing for. HyperStack may not be as flashy as other brands, but based on the bang for the buck and potential expansion, I rank this system in the enhanced category. When Klein MODbox was released in the spring of 2023, it was obvious they were aiming for the top of the leaderboard. At launch, the standard 3-stack brought some great new features, like the 10-inch wheels, a tall handle with integrated tool storage, conduit slots in the bigger boxes for wire dispensing, and side accessory rails. I really liked it in my first impressions video, but the combination of the bright orange colorway and several unknowns about their expansion plans for the system made it a difficult commitment for many users. But then, in 2024, drawers came out. The dark gray and orange styling piqued my interest, and the quality of these drawers are truly at the top of the market. You can check out my drawer comparison for more information. The component boxes also performed well in my organizer comparison video, and Klein was the first company to release a dedicated rolling drawer unit last fall. We're 13 systems in, and you've hopefully realized that no system is perfect. But Klein currently offers several toolboxes, drawer boxes, component boxes, soft storage, the unique spool dispenser box, a folding workbench, and carts. There is also a full line of rail accessories, including many different pouches, versatile hooks, a tool carrier, a strong magnet, and all kinds of MODbox accessory toolkits full of innovative hand tools and accessories. Slightly before MODbox was released, Klein released the Bucket Work Center, a modular workspace organization system for bucket trucks. What's cool about this system is that the rails and rail attachments share geometry with MODbox rails, so most things are cross-compatible. For example, these hooks are actually from the Bucket Work Center. This dual carabiner hammer loop is also from the Bucket Work Center, and there are several other really cool attachments. Fair warning, they are on the more expensive side due to them being more durable and oriented for industry use, but the cross-compatibility between these two systems is really cool. But wait, there's more. This is the Klein MODbox service cart and a bunch of new things set to launch in the coming months. This service cart is a slimmer option to the larger utility cart, but it maintains benefits like being taller than average, having large wheels, MODbox rails, and conduit holes on the uprights. These are the new compact drawers. This half-width is the first of its kind on the market. There is a weather seal on the front of the drawer, and it comes with 2 dividers. Great for storing smaller items in a compact form factor. And the wide single drawer has long dividers going side to side instead of just front to back. So now you can store long items like pipe wrenches and pry bars, and organize smaller items in the subdivided compartments. Both of these drawers feature a weather seal, which is a nice upgrade from the initial drawer boxes. A lot of people have been waiting for this, the MODbox Bluetooth speaker. And this is another Bluetooth speaker. You can link multiple of them together for more sound. And I made this MODbox rail with a 1/4-20 thread so you can easily position your speakers away from each other for surround sound. And here's a few more cart accessories. The pipe bender holder stores a bender in either orientation, and it works with other round tools like a wrecking bar, and yes, even a broom. On the other side of the cart is the new tool apron. It has a variety of pockets for hand tools, cases, and hardware. And it can be zipped up for easier transportation or storage. There are 2 new MODbox toolkits with insulated tools coming out soon, and more on the way. Also, since these hand tools are made in USA, and I toured the Klein manufacturing facilities in June, I have a pretty good feeling that some MODbox will start to be made in the USA in the next couple of years. And I have hopes that there are a few more surprises coming by the end of the year and early 2026 if all goes to plan. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any new storage products. Klein Tools has been a company focused on the electrical trades for over 150 years. But MODbox has been built for so much more. Here's a quote from the president of Klein Tools in November of 2023. I don't know about you, but in less than 2 years, it seems like they've been working hard to keep enhancing the system on a regular basis. And more than your everyday tradespeople are being tempted by the MODbox ecosystem. It's one of my favorite systems to make accessories for, and I have quite a few more in the works. If there's anything you'd like to see, make sure to comment below. As of summer 2025, Klein MODbox is solidly in the elite category. Kobalt CaseStack was released in 2022. It's another system made by Meridian that uses side connectors very similar to Bauer, but the systems are not compatible. CaseStack is built slightly better than Bauer and other systems, but the price is a little higher as well. I like the integrated accessory cleats on different boxes, but CaseStack is a Lowe's exclusive and the accessories have never been easy to get. CaseStack has a medium-sized but well-rounded system with a few boxes, a 2-drawer, 2 organizers, and some soft storage. The side connectors are a downside, but the half-width compatibility redeems it slightly. If the manual side latches are not a deal breaker for you, then Kobalt CaseStack has potential. Since it has accessories and half-size compatibility, I rank it above Tradestack in the enhanced category. L-BOXX hit the market in 2010, and it should get some credit for being part of the start to this whole modular toolbox obsession. The boxes are made in several European countries out of ABS. ABS is a strong material, but less flexible than modern polypropylene blends, which are what most of these new systems are made out of. L-BOXX, as we see it today, is the result of a joint venture between Bosch and Sortimo. They've created a large system with a lot of benefits, including custom packaging for some popular brands. But obviously there are reasons why it hasn't kept up with the market the last 15 years. The spring-loaded side connectors work fairly well, but it's prone to the same problems as all the other side connecting systems. Most of the L-BOXXs have a small front handle and a large folding top handle for convenient carrying. When multiple boxes are stacked together, the weight is transferred through the side connectors onto the top box's latches. The stated carrying capacity is 40 kilograms or just under 90 pounds. One thing I wish L-BOXX changed is the latches. The standard plastic latches are thinner than the ones on the XL box. They feel more secure and like a better value for the price. The connection between the XL box and standard boxes is a sliding rail and can be released by lifting the box up and sliding it out. There is also a decent variety of L-BOXX sizes, from the wide XL box where you can store long tools or a ton of hardware in these bins. There are different heights of the standard width boxes, and an insert tray will fit in the larger ones. The modular racks create easy access shelves for smaller organizer boxes, and there are larger organizers with clear lids too. There's also a few soft storage options and even mini L boxes with adjustable dividers. There are also Pro Click pouches, an adjacent and somewhat compatible line of quick release pouches. They seem very well made with several built-in features. Stay tuned for more content on these pouches in the L-BOXX system. My favorite part of the system is the organizers. You can get all kinds of bin sizes and in different colors straight from L-BOXX. There are little feet on the bottom that keep bins in place, and it's been a game changer for me when organizing my most used hardware. The L-BOXX 4-wheel dolly has some high quality casters, but the total capacity is a little less than other top brands. I would say L-BOXX is less suited for abusive job sites and more for shop organization or the service industry in more finished areas. This worktop is the only oversized one like this on the market. It has a simple spring pull latch on each side, but the plywood is high quality and it creates a versatile platform. For soft storage, there's a full-size tote, bag, and smaller bag that's compatible with the mini L-BOXXs. I really like the extra functionality of the lower tray that you can connect to the tote. L-BOXX has something new in the works that could revitalize this system, but I'll talk more about the new contractor system at the end of the video. For now, this 15-year-old system gets put in the enhanced category. Makita MAKtrak is the newest system on the block. It was announced last August and finally went up for sale in January. MAKtrak launched with 7 different toolboxes, and they brought a good mix of new and old features to the party. In my first impressions video in January, I covered all the details, like dual hinging lids for access from both sides, the storage capacities of the boxes, how it can be easily loaded into vehicles, and the lid organization, to name a few. The connecting mechanism of MAKtrak is without a doubt one of the best. There is a simple spring latch that is either accessible from the side or the front of the system depending on how you have it mounted. There are many points of contact on this system between boxes, so it feels so solid and it will most likely survive whatever you throw at it. MAKtrak is also being made in USA, and it's obvious you're paying a premium for that process as well as the top-notch build quality. It would be nice if MAKtrak expands their system into drawers and soft storage, but I'm sure the startup cost for these 7 items was millions of dollars, and adding more complex pieces like drawers right at the start would have been even more expensive. The faster Makita launches drawers, soft storage, and accessories, the better, because as of right now, the 7 items don't give people that many reasons to invest in this system in such a diverse market. There is a lot of potential with MAKtrak, but right now, the size of the system limits it to the lower end of the premium category. With 10 systems to go, I'm wondering how many pique your interest. On one hand, there is a convenience factor by committing to just one system, but that system might not have exactly what you're looking for, depending on your day-to-day work tasks and weekend hobbies. For example, I want my M18 vacuum ready on a shelf, along with some hand tools. I like keeping my M12 tools organized in their Packout case, and I prefer the low-profile MODbox component box for general use hardware I can grab and go. But I also like using the L-BOXXs for storing larger varieties of hardware. My ToughBuilt crate works well for storing my biking stuff, so I can throw everything in the car, and I have larger tools on the bottom shelf. All of these items don't connect together, but I still wanted quick access to them. That's why I built this adjustable drawer slide rack. I have 16-inch drawer slides mounted to vertical rails with hardware every inch, so I can make adjustments quickly to my shelves if I wanted to change the location of boxes, organizers, or other gear. I'm thinking about selling these vertical rails and drawer slide brackets as a DIY shelf kit, but I'm still working on the final version. Let me know if you own multiple systems or are tired of unstacking them in your storage spot, and I can put this system on my website soon. Do these boxes look familiar? Yup, these Masterforce boxes are the same as Bauer. They can be connected to Bauer boxes, and they're actually the same as Tactics boxes available from other stores across the world. Meridian makes a lot of systems, and it probably didn't cost Menards much to add their Masterforce labels to this existing system. Speaking of price, Masterforce toolboxes cost more than Bauer, and they're the exact same for the most part. The grips on the handles are a little different, but the dividers don't have an elastic band, and the 6 bins in the small box are way worse. The lids do not snap tightly onto the lower bin, so if you spill anything, it'll fall right out. It would be nice to see the Masterforce and Bauer systems expanded with drawers, transportation options, and accessories, but that probably won't happen. Another option I'd like to see is Menards bringing a more premium toolbox system to their shelves and lowering the price of Masterforce boxes, because at the end of the day, they are just very basic boxes. Maximum Brix is another very intriguing system. It has a similar appearance to other high-end systems like Milwaukee and Flex, but it actually came out in 2020. That's before Flex Stackpack. Over the last 5 years, the system has not grown past the 3 toolbox set. Within the core system, there's still a couple interesting features, like the main handle with its truck bed loading geometry. The medium toolbox also has a large top handle similar to Packout, and there are some threaded inserts on the side of the boxes for accessories. This system also has a feet and cleat connecting mechanism with a front latch. There are some decent aspects to maximum Brix, but it's only available at Canadian Tire and has not expanded in the past 3 years, so it's definitely on the more basic side. In 2017, when Milwaukee announced Packout, it was without a doubt a redefining moment in the storage space. The iconic styling of bright red and aluminum corner rails make it impossible to miss on a job site or in the back of a truck flying down the highway. I don't regret investing in Packout in the fall of 2018 for a second. I give them a lot of credit for inspiring me, other creators, and even setting a new standard of ingenuity and quality for other companies to aim for. But they are not perfect. They have one of, if not the best connecting mechanism. It's easy to use, very secure, and versatile. The 12 feet and cleats allow for items of all sizes, from big boxes to drinkware. There's a whole range of Packout tumblers and water bottles. If you want to go all in on the red cult, you can let Packout encapsulate your entire life. They have different transportation options, toolboxes, drawers, soft storage, speakers, lighting, and more. There are over 70 different Milwaukee Packout items and hundreds of unique third-party accessories. On my website alone, I have dozens of Packout-specific products from the past 3 years. That includes more than 25 unique Packout rail accessories, from the anchor point to magnets to wall mounts. Your rails have a lot of potential when combined with easy install attachments. I also started the handler organization system with Packout since it was my first system, and there are now over 30 unique handler system accessories. As I showed earlier, everything is modular, so you can swap items from box to box or system to system, and I prioritized low-profile designs for ease of use. I thought Milwaukee would announce even more Packout at this year's pipeline, but there really wasn't anything new. Just another radio, another light, and the racking is finally available after announcing it at last year's pipeline. There are good reasons why Packout is the most widely used system across tradespeople and beyond, but I think the percentage of users could have been even higher. For some reason, or reasons, Milwaukee seemingly let off the gas pedal. People were asking for drawers for years. People were asking for accessories for years. People were asking for the rolling drawer for years. Tons of people buy anything with Milwaukee and a white lightning bolt on it. If they wanted to, they could have dominated the market even more by bringing the black version from Europe and selling both colors here. Instead, people switched to a different system to get their desired color scheme. They could have released the rolling drawer earlier, made it better, or released multiple versions. Instead, people switched to systems to get a rolling drawer with drawer slides, so it can be opened in your truck bed, on top of your workbench, or other elevated surfaces without risking it falling open and dumping your tools on the ground. Check out my Packout rolling drawer review to see how I recommend adding rope to make your setup safer. They could launch tons of other items that they have listed in their patents, and there are obviously dozens or hundreds of other variations that they're keeping locked up. At the end of the day, could Milwaukee Packout work for you? Yeah, possibly. They have a lot of stuff out there, but there is still room for improvement, and the competition is catching up fast, or has already surpassed them in different ways. Based on the connecting mechanism, build quality, and sheer volume of items in the Packout world, it's most certainly an elite storage system. OXtool started as an Australian tool brand in 1974 and primarily focused on hand tools. When they released OXtool's Tool Trek in 2023, there was definitely some buzz around them. Personally, the black and blue coloring is pretty pleasing, and Tool Trek has a lot of options. Because OXtool's Tool Trek is not a brand new system. It's actually manufactured by Qbrick, and Tool Trek shares the geometry from the Qbrick Prime system. Qbrick as a brand has 4 different toolbox lines, and they can all connect together directly or with their adapter plates. The 4 lines originated in Europe and have slightly different specs or features. Qbrick 1 is from 2018, Qbrick 2 and Qbrick Pro are from 2019, and Qbrick Prime is their top-of-the-line system from 2022. You can get 1, Pro, or Prime from Qbrick's online USA store. Something that makes this brand even more interesting is the 2 color options. Red toolboxes are the ultra heavy duty, and black is recycled plastic. There is definitely more to learn about Qbrick, but without any physical products to explain and compare, I think we'll have to save that for a future video. Comment down below if you'd like to see more content about Qbrick. For now, I'll be ranking Qbrick as one system, since they can all be connected. Based on the sheer volume of the boxes and the heavy-duty range, they probably belong in the premium category. Ridgid Pro Gear 1.0 launched in 2014, and it was a reliable system for many people for many years. But 1.0 had some flaws and lacked unique features. When Ridgid Pro Gear 2.0 came out in 2022, it was obvious that Ketter, the actual manufacturer, went over every inch of 1.0 and found several ways to improve and revolutionize the aging system. Most notably, the fix and go cleats. This feature allows XL boxes and any of the drawer boxes to be used interchangeably with the handle and wheel assembly. Also, the fix and go cleats enable Ridgid Pro Gear 2.0 to be the only system that can hang on the wall straight from the factory with no modification or extra parts. In the toolboxes, wall brackets are included and can be screwed to any flat surface or 16-inch stud wall. You can also get more brackets for your toolboxes or drawer boxes on whyhedesigns.com. One of the downsides to Ridgid Pro Gear is the manual side latches. They aren't as quick as the auto side latches from other systems, and they are not as convenient as front latching systems. But the simplicity of the rotating bar is standing the test of time. For other features and accessories, there are 2 holes molded into the sides of the boxes. I'm sure Ketter has plans for accessories to be mounted here, but so do I, like the small parts organizer mount, side handler, and PRA adapter bar for cross-compatibility with the full collection of handler accessories and my Packout rail accessories. Ridgid Pro Gear is also sold across the world under different names, like JCB, AEG, ROC, and Bauer. What's interesting about that is there are a couple items sold elsewhere, but not in the US. I really hope that Ridgid Pro Gear continues to expand with more drawer types, organizers, soft storage, and more. There's a lot of potential for this 11-year-old ecosystem, and there's a lot of loyal users. Ridgid Pro Gear is definitely a premium system. Ryobi Link is yet another system in the mid-price range, and between other Home Depot competitors, Ridgid Pro Gear and Build-Out, I would put Link in 3rd place. Even though Ryobi Link's connecting mechanism is operated by a front button, I think it's clunkier than other front access systems and several side access ones. The rolling toolbox has larger wheels and a more ergonomic handle than Ridgid and Husky, but it's not removable unless you get the Ryobi Link pins sold separately. The crate has terrible ergonomics, and as I pointed out in the drawer video, those units are not worth the money. The green bins from the organizers have a neat hanging feature, but the overall quality is not as nice as other systems. Did you know Ryobi Link used to be made in USA? Now it's made in Vietnam. I don't think the quality decreased when manufacturing went overseas, but it was just the design and construction in general from the start. Before you think I'm just a Ryobi hater, know this. I've been using Ryobi brushless tools for over 7 years, and they were pretty good. For so long, Ryobi was known as the budget brand, but the prices have crept higher and higher in recent years, and Ryobi Link is just overpriced for the quality and features the boxes provide. The only slightly redeeming factor is the Link wall system. It's pretty cool how they've used the same geometry from the box connecting mechanism for wall hooks, shelves, cabinets, and more. But once again, it's becoming kind of a pricey system. There's a lot of competition in the wall organization space, and unless you really like lime green, you'll probably be just as happy with an alternative wall organization system. I rank Ryobi Link in the enhanced category. One of the most common complaints I get about all of these systems is they're way too expensive for being plastic toolboxes. Okay, so here's SK toolboxes, the only modular steel storage system on the market. They went up for sale in January 2024. They have auto side latches similar to other systems, and they're made by their parent company, Greatstar. Greatstar is a huge conglomerate that owns and manufactures tools and toolboxes for a bunch of brands. There was a decent amount of buzz about the SK modular steel storage. They have a few drawer options and cabinets, but the system has not grown in the US since launch. They also delisted this from Amazon and now only sell them on their website. The green SK toolboxes are also sold internationally as Magnus and Clickster with a different color scheme. Maybe they'll sell better over there at that price point, and it's nice to see they have a full size and half-width organizer overseas. The SK toolboxes system in the US is between basic and enhanced. In 1993, Tanos created the first stackable plastic toolbox, now referred to as the Systainer Classic. Then in 2010, it was revamped with the T-Lock, a big improvement to the connecting mechanism. And then in 2019, Systainer 3 came out, with some other improvements and an integrated slot for storing in a bot racking setup. Over the last 30 years, over 40 million Systainers have been sold. I wonder what styles have done best, colorways, and where in the world most are sold. Many boxes are also rebranded for custom kits sold by a bunch of other companies, mostly in Europe. Systainer is almost synonymous with Festool. There has been a lot of collaboration between Tanos, the manufacturer of the boxes, and Festool, another company owned by Dewalt Systems. There are some very unique products in the lineup, like the Mobile Workshop 1000, Maxi Trapo, XXL boxes, and Combi boxes. But can the smaller ABS constructed boxes compete with the larger, more durable, and accessory-ready systems of today? Time will tell. Based on price, system volume, and versatility with bot racking, Systainer is in the premium category. When ToughBuilt StackTech launched in the fall of 2023, it was pretty dang exciting. It was the third new system of 2023, and they had a really strong launch with 8 items. In the following months, more items came, like drawers, a 4-wheel dolly, coolers, an XL box, low-profile organizer, E-track shelves, and more accessories became available. Instead of slowly announcing items over many, many years, ToughBuilt did something kinda crazy. Right off the bat, they showed renderings of a few other drawer variations, first aid kits, a water cooler, vacuum, box fan, unique accessories, and something they call the Advanced Transporter. They set an ambitious timeline for these items and have sadly missed the mark a couple of times. On their website, they now have these possible items under the Looking Forward banner. A combination of factors like unexpected high demand for StackTech, supply chain issues, corporate financial hurdles, gradual price increases, and now the constantly changing import taxes have caused ToughBuilt to pivot. That's why Australia was the first to get the rolling drawers, new 1, 2, and 4 drawers with an integrated lock. And now some countries in Asia and Europe are up next for those new items. I wouldn't be surprised if the rest of the world continues to get new stuff before the US. StackTech brought some innovation to the market. The connecting mechanism is not only fun to actuate, but also one of the more sturdy connections, with 4 points of contact. And it can be stacked forwards or backwards. The Gen 1 drawers can't be locked, which is why I made TBRA anchor points and rail locks during my 2024 design challenge. Another innovation was the steel corner rails. Yes, they increase the weight of the boxes, but they also add functionality with generic things that use magnets, and there is a line of quick attach accessories. Not only did StackTech bring some functional innovation to the market, but they changed the narrative about the appearance of toolboxes. Instead of systems being loud colors or going for lightweight and affordability, ToughBuilt made the sleekest system. It can fit into almost any job site, camping trip, or secret military operation, and bring functionality to the party. That being said, StackTech is still not flawless. The wheels of the rolling box are 9 inches and have a beefy tread. The handle is almost as tall as MODbox, but with the amount of movement back and forth, it doesn't feel as premium as the rest of the system. The center grip is narrower than other systems, and the plastic release latches that hold the handles in place are one of the only things on the system that I've seen people break. The Gen 1 drawers cannot be locked, and when 2 half-size items are next to each other, another full-size one cannot be stacked on top. Another complaint is that the early announcements of possible future items is causing people to get a little impatient. Yes, it's aggravating when stuff gets delayed, but StackTech isn't even 2 years old yet. Guys, it's gonna be okay. It took Systainers 30 years to get where they are, and Milwaukee 8 years. If we're patient, I'm sure ToughBuilt can make improvements and keep the ball rolling. When new StackTech innovations are released, I think the ranking can rise, but right now, StackTech is solidly in the elite category. Before making your final decision on the apparent rankings from left to right, remember this. There are advantages and disadvantages to every system. So for you, the elite systems might look more like this, or the rankings might even look like this. That was 25 systems ranked. Anyone still here? If you are, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button and commented. Everything has pros and cons. What do you think about my placings? Let me know if you would move anything up or down in your own lists. We just covered roughly 25 systems that are currently on the market. However, now we're in the honorable mentions category, where I'll hypothesize about a few lesser known systems and a few that are not out yet. First up, Hilti Pro Kit. This system looks really cool. Hilti is one of the highest quality tool brands out there, so I have high hopes for their toolbox system. It seems like they've taken unique pieces from several different brands. We have a removable handle and wheels from Ridgid, handle storage like MODbox, a single front latch like StackTech, a front access connecting mechanism, a rolling drawer, and a small toolbox can even be hung on the handle. If these boxes are reasonably priced, I think it could be one of the next elite toolbox systems. The Tajima safety system is another interesting one. Their boxes seem lightweight but feature packed. I like the look of their folding push cart, and they've integrated their tape measure and pouch clip design to the inside and outside of the boxes. It seems like this system has gone down in availability since it was announced, but I hope there are possibilities for expansion because this system has some potential. Something very exciting that I can share very little details about is another brand new system coming early next year. First, it'll have a dark color scheme. It will have a versatile connecting mechanism with a front latch. A rolling drawer will be available at launch. It will have multiple versatile accessory points on the boxes that will also work together with an accessory wall system. And it will be a high quality system at a very, very competitive price. Also, it should be available across the United States in store, and it will have more online exclusive items at launch. If you've ever spent any time on Alibaba or AliExpress, you've probably seen some very close knockoff products or seemingly genuine items across all kinds of industries. Here's a few interesting toolbox finds. This red system is very similar to Milwaukee Packout. These systems are similar to Ridgid Pro Gear and Dewalt Toughsystem, and this system called multi-stack takes elements from a few different systems. It kind of seems like a new toolbox system has popped up every month over the past few years. The market is only going to get more competitive, so keep an eye out for new stuff and let me know if you have any questions. And the final honorable mention is the new Bosch contractor system. It should be coming out soon, and it is backwards compatible with L-BOXX, as well as bringing new features like the Pro Click corner rails and larger drawer boxes. All right, that was the top 25 plus toolbox systems of 2025. I know there might have been some controversial opinions today, but guys, come on. They're just toolboxes. If you have any knowledge or experience with some of these systems, please comment down below to help others decide which is best for them. If you're interested in any of my products, please check out whyhedesigns.com, and I'd appreciate it if you smash the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notified for future tool and toolbox content.